You're listening to KPFT, Houston, Texas. We are 90.1 on the dial. If you're listening down in Galveston, pick us up at 89.5. Our friends up in the piney woods of East Texas, 91.9. It is time for Songwriter Studio. I'm your host, Tom Tranchilla, along with Lloyd Daniel in the booth, spinning the knobs and doing what he does every week. Thanks, Lloyd, for everything you do and the use of the Songwriter Studios. Our guest this afternoon, Ann Hill, and Ann Hill's plural with an S on the end. Ann, thank you so much for joining us for an hour on Songwriter Studio. You're going to be coming into Houston, playing the Houston Folklore Society's monthly show. And thanks to Carolyn Davis for turning us on to your great music and scheduling you to play their monthly concert series.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Have you played in the Houston area before? I know you've done the Kerrville Festival.
I have, and actually I was set to play there about 4 years ago, and my friend Denise Frankie had to fill in for me because I was in Houston Methodist Hospital.
Oh my gosh!
I'd done a show in Baton Rouge, and I developed something with my brain, a clot in my brain. So I was there, and it was around Thanksgiving, as I recall. And Frankie was so kind to last minute go in and do the show for me. And it may have been part of the Houston, might have been Carolyn's concert series that she was doing too. I'm not sure which it was at this point, but I'm really excited seeing the lineup that comes into, the second Saturday to be included. It's an honor.
Denise is a wonderful songwriter and performer, and I'm not sure if she still resides in the Galveston area or not.
She does. I do believe she does, yeah. I was going to go visit her.
let the listening audience know where you reside these days.
I'm in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Most people knew me when I would come down and do the Kerrville Festival, is coming from Chicago. That was really where I grew up in as far as my music goes. Moved into Chicago right during that. There was a big folk boom sort of on Lincoln Avenue in Chicago, and fell in love with the musicians there, the scene there, and had a little store on the north side of Chicago, a folk music store. And that's where I met Bob Gibson, and it was Bob who was the first person to bring me down to Kerrville.
So that's cool. You owned a music store?
A little music store called Hog Eye Music up on the north side.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I would have been lost in there digging through vinyl, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've got a brand new album out, Accidental August, and I did read the story behind it. Why don't you tell the listening audience the story behind the title track?
Okay, sure. I went back and got my master's in social work and have been a therapist, a clinical social work counselor for 17 years now. And when COVID hit, all of a sudden, everybody had to scramble to figure out what we were going to do. People couldn't come into the office to be seen at the social work agency where I work, and they had to set up video sessions for people. And I was reading the New Yorker, and there was a psychoanalyst who said that COVID ended up being like an accidental August, which August is the month that usually most therapists take off and do vacation. So it's an accidental August with no Labor Day in sight. And so I kind of came to think of the COVID as accidental August, and it kept acting that way. It was unpredictable. And so it sort of lived up to that name of unpredictability of an accident. And so that's where it came from. And I started thinking about how things were changing and what it was like for us. And because I had at the time been working with a geriatrician friend of mine who's also a musician, and we were ready to write a proposal to go over to Italy, to Bellagio, to write songs that were going to be story songs of empathy, to build empathy for dementia clients and their families and the caregivers. Well, obviously, Bellagio shut down since Italy was the one that was hit the hardest first. And his lectures around the world got shut down. And then my performances got shut down, and my counseling was shut down for a bit of time. So we thought, well, let's work on songs about love and adapting to this pandemic that we were all sort of plunged into.
And to add insult to injury, your friend Michael Smith had passed away on August 3rd. So
yeah. That was after he and I had done the last week. Literally, we came back from doing shows in Southern Indiana and St. Louis, came back to Chicago, and the shutdown happened. Everybody was quarantined, sort of essentially. We were told to stay home. And I drove from Chicago back to Bethlehem, and that's when it began.
I'll tell you what, we've got a lot to cover in very little time here, and we've got 4 tracks selected off the brand new album, Accidental August. We're going to start out with the track I've chosen called You Can Tell That She's in Love. Great piano work, excellent guitar solo in this track. Why don't you cue the listening audience the history behind this particular song?
Well, during COVID, a lot of us had family occasions that came up, and our daughter, I'm married to Mark Moss, editor of Sing Out Magazine, and our daughter got engaged, and she had to keep delaying her wedding, and finally she got married in September after we'd been in this, and that came from a lyric that I had written about just the way you can watch your child fall in love and just seeing the change and knowing you've got to let them go into the world. And really great band on the record, and they just picked it up right away.
Let's listen to this track right now off the brand new album, Accidental August. The name of this track is You Can Tell That She's in Love. This is Ann Hills.
You can tell that she's in love by the way she lifts her chin, laughs at any little thing, letting light and love come in. Not a moment that goes by without a sparkle in her eye. Every sun that's out in space shares the light that's in her face. You can tell that she's in love, so miraculous and free, like a roller coaster ride or a rolling wave at sea. It's so hard to let her go in this crazy world we know, but there isn't any choice because love's the strongest voice. Oh, look at her, look at her, look at her. How could you not feel this? You can tell that she's in love. Those are lips that beg a kiss. Love came walking through the door and delivered us this girl. She was ours for just a while. Now she's off to change the world. And when we hear her laughter ring, you know we wouldn't miss a thing. Tell the one she's thinking of, you can tell that she's in love. This girl, she was ours for just a while. Now she's off to change the world. And when we hear her laughter ring, you know we wouldn't miss a thing. Tell the one she's thinking of, you can tell she's in love, in love.
You can tell that she's in love. Brand new music. This is Ann Hills, along with a co-write on Al Power there, and I love the guitar work. Is that Scott Petito?
That's Scott Petito, yeah. He did both the guitar and the bass. We had Peter Erskine on the drums, and we had Tyler Wood on piano.
Excellent. Excellent.
It was fun to do. Fun.
Superb recording quality, by the way. Was this all done at...
It was all done in Catskill, New York at Scott Petito. Actually, I'm going up there tomorrow to record a couple new tunes also. So, yeah, I love working with him. He's just so good.
I'm not familiar with the studio. I've been to the Catskills once. It's just stunning. The mountains and everything up there. It has to be a great atmosphere to be recording a record.
It is, and his wife Leslie is a wonderful gardener as well as a great singer herself, and so you're looking out at the garden, and it's beautiful, and he's really wonderful to work with. So I'm honored, and lucky to work with him since the very beginning of my recording career. I've worked with Scott, so yeah.
Tell you what, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the awards you've won over the years, but first, we've got track number 8 queued up right now, Hello, My Love, Goodbye.
Yeah.
This has got an interesting tempo. It caught my ear immediately. Why don't you let the listening audience know a little bit about this song?
Well, Tyler Wood really surprised me. It's the piano that really brought stuff in. And of course, Peter's work on the drums also makes a huge difference. But Tyler, because he's a pianist who'd worked in a lot of different combinations, was used to moving the bass, in the piano. And I had written this, the melody came to me, the melody and words, both, this is one of the only songs on the record that's just mine. And it came to me when I was driving to Chicago to do hospice for my partner on the road, Michael Smith. He had been given 2 weeks to live, and his agent was caring for him because he'd lost his wife, Barbara, he had lost her in January or early February before COVID hit. So I just knew I was driving to Chicago to spend the last, 2 weeks of our time together. So I was driving to say hello and then goodbye to him. And he also was a person who was very Buddhist and very spiritual, deep spirituality. We always talked about many things on the roads. He was like a brother to me, and we could really talk about literally anything, the way you can with siblings that you're close to. And so I knew his idea of, and he had a beautiful death. I will say that also. He really focused on the work he needed to do when you're leaving. And I was lucky enough to when he asked me, you've written something, and to sing it. And he would always do that. You'll hear the beat on this. It's sort of a poppy, almost flamenco-y sort of sounding beat. And so I wanted it to have that. And he'd gone back to study flamenco guitar before the pandemic. And so I'm hoping it honors him.
Last time I saw Michael Smith, he performed at Celia Quinn's Habitat House concert just not too long ago, 3 years ago, maybe 4.
That beautiful place. I loved it.
What a wonderful place.
Right? Yes, it is. It's magic land.
And we love Celia to death. She's such a great human being.
What a person. What an artist and wonderful person. Yeah.
Off the brand new release, Accidental August, this is Ann's nod to Michael Smith. Brand new music, Ann Hills, Hello, My Love, Goodbye.
Hello, my love, goodbye. The thorn exceeds the bloom. An echo fills the room, the tearing of the sky. Hello, my love, goodbye. Hello, my love, goodbye. Blow kiss, then disappear. The space we held you near, subtract and multiply. goodbye. Time tilts the Milky Way, spilling the last of day. A universe turns to say, the journey once so long, too short now looking back. A train run out of track, a bird without a song. The constellations sigh, hello, my love, goodbye. Hello, my love, goodbye. We drift within a dream, a wild and shifting stream, the perfect sky above. Goodbye. Hello, my love. Goodbye. Hello, my love.
Ann Hill's brand new music, Hello, My Love, Goodbye. What a beautiful song. What an interesting tempo. This is a wonderful song, wonderful album, and you will be performing at the May 14th concert at the Houston Folklore Society. That's going to be, contact the Houston Folklore Society. Just go to their website and purchase tickets for this, and we will hook you up. Carolyn, thank you so much for bringing in Ann Hills to the show. This is May 14th. It'll be next weekend, so go to that show. I'm sure tickets are still available. And I mentioned before the break, before we played that song, all the awards you've been up for, and it's almost overwhelming. You've been a recipient of the Posse Award, the WFMA Kate Wolf Memorial Award, the Kerrville Music Foundation's Outstanding Female of the Year Award. You've been the recipient of the Atlantic Review's International Poetry Contest. It just goes on and on. You've been around and won so many awards. It's incredible. But I do want to ask you about this. You performed with the Southwest Michigan Symphony Orchestra 2002-2003 and the 2008-2009 series. Tell us a little bit about this. It had to have been an honor.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was interesting to sing with a symphony. It's very exciting, but it's also very difficult in some ways because most singer-songwriters, there's at the most maybe 2-3 people on stage or just a solo on stage. And then you go to sing an arrangement with this whole symphony, and all of a sudden there's all of these wonderful musicians bringing their work, their best to that moment, and the audience that's used to hearing the symphony especially. And you feel as if you're on a kind of a rough sea at first. You have to really get used to it. It's a very different feeling than working with the intimacy of coffee houses and those smaller rooms. And the songs that were chosen, well, the first time they were chosen and arranged by someone I didn't know. And the second time they were done by Jay Ansel, who is a friend of mine and musician who travels with me many times, also an engineer from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And he did the arrangements for all of those and was able to come out and hear the performance. It was on Valentine's Day, and it was a special night for me because my parents were there, and I had written Winter Roses, a lyric that Shay then put to song that was about aging, as your parents age, their love as they age. So it was scary, it was exciting, it was fun, all of those things.
If you're just tuning in, Ann Hills is our guest on Songwriter Studio, previewing brand new music off of her album Accidental August. Will be performing at the Houston Folklore Society May 14th, so tickets are still available. Go to their website and contact Carolyn Davis. Tell her you want to go to the show. Not only to support this live show, please support KPFT. We are on our spring fund drive right now, and we have been really suffering the past couple of years with the pandemic and the radio station shutting down. Thank goodness all the programmers have been able to pick up and do their remote shows from places like Lloyd's Studio, who donates his space on a weekly basis. So thank you, Lloyd. If you like what you hear, pick up that phone and dial 713-526-5738, or go to our website, kpft.org. Make a donation for Songwriter Studio. For those of you longtime listeners, know that KPFT has been supporting the local, regional, and national artists, independent artists, for over 50 years. Songwriter Studio has been coming to you for 15 years now, and we really need your support. We've got all kinds of gifts to offer this time around. For the $90 pledge level, you can get the 3D set of 57 hours of in-studio interviews of performances. We also have at the $150 level KPFT Picker Poets Society 3 CD set on a thumb drive. For $240, this is a classic. You can get the Juneteenth Blues Festival. This is a live performance with Clifton Chenier, Johnny Copeland, Robert Cray, Albert Collins, and more. The Baker's Dozen, you get both the Picker Poets Society and the Juneteenth Blues Festival for $365. Pick up that phone, dial 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Support KPFT and support Songwriter Studio. If you're just tuning in, we have Ann Hills as our guest on Songwriter Studio, who will be, and this is going to be, the performance will be on May the 14th at the Houston Folklore Society's second Saturday concert series. Ann, thank you so much for joining us. We've got the next song queued up here, Be This. Tell the listening audience a little bit about this. It's got a little bit reggae beat to it. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this one, Al sort of came up with the melody. He wanted to do something. He'd been listening to some actually African music. It ended up being kind of more of a reggae, but I had written something about the lessons, what it was like, what we were supposed to be sort of learning during this time when we were stuck at home, unable to be with people we loved. And this is how he decided, I sort of went, he gave me a little bit of what he wanted to do, and then I completed the lyric, and then we had a lot of fun doing it. And you'll hear my backyard birds on this one too. The other thing that I really loved it was the dawn chorus. Both of the springs that we lived through this, the birds, like right there, like now they're coming back. All the songbirds come back, and you wake up in the morning very early, and you wake up to the birds, and so. I even do a little whistling, imitating the birds on it, too.
Very cool. This is a great song. Great song to actually close the album out with. This is Be This, brand new music. Ann Hills, the name of the new album, Accidental August.
That's what it teaches. Slow down, listen, open your mind from the start. Then speak with kindness. Speak first from the beaches. Time passes, this is revealing. Be here, seeing, open your eyes to it all. When you watch it unfold, hear every bird call. Time passes, this can be healing. The other is you, reflecting your fear, your anger, your sorrow, your joy, your desire. You frighten yourself and get burned by the fire. You weep for your losses and lose what is here. Live gratefully, change how you see this. Be still, quiet, open yourself to what's there. Every breath you are breathing, just notice the air. Live gratefully, try this, then be this. Then be this.
Be This. Brand new music, Ann Hills, from the new album, Accidental August. Yeah, I love the birds. Whose idea was that?
That was mine. There was a song that Michael wrote that was taken from the spiritual life of children. He wrote a melody to words by two little girls, a girl from Southern Baptist and another African-American young girl, two different girls. And he took words out of this wonderful book and set it to song. And we become birds when we die. And so I whistle that at the very beginning. We become birds when we die. And then tweet, 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 tweet. You know, I whistle it. Again, that memory of the memory of Michael.
If you're just tuning in, we are interviewing Ann Hills, who will be performing the Houston Folklore Society's second concert series. That's going to be May 14th. Go to the Houston Folklore Society's website, give you all the information about where it's held right here in West U. It's a great venue. I love it. Thank you, Carolyn Davis, for taking care of all this business and bringing it into the show. And if they want to order your albums, where do they go, Ann?
AnnHills.com. Ann with an E, Hills with an S.com.
AnnHills.com. And you're probably on a lot of the streaming services.
All the streaming. Yeah, they can download it or just listen to it. Yep.
Do you have the current schedule on your website that they can go to get the addresses of the various locations?
Yes. Yeah. That's on the website. And also some videos that I've made, YouTube videos, and other information. Sometimes my poetry, some of the other things that I put up. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being our guest on Songwriter Studio. And we are going to close the show out with actually your portion of the show with the title track off the brand new album. Tell the listening audience, and you had touched on this earlier in the show, the title track, Accidental August. Give the listening audience a little heads up.
Yeah, the only thing when I'd written the words about the Accidental August, in other words, that the unpredictability of COVID and what's happening, the only thing that I had this idea of the last great sort of tragedy we all had to live through besides 9/11 before that was, the Depression in the 30s. And I was thinking of Brother Can You Spare a Dime, and the one part in the chorus, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, I thought I wanted to have that. I had a very specific melody because I wanted to kind of reference that idea. And you'll hear other references in the song to Brother Can You Spare a Dime.
Thanks again for being our guest on Songwriter Studio. Ann Hills is our guest, and she will be performing one more time, May 14th, Houston Folklore Society, second Saturday concert series, and this will be right here in West U. Well, thanks again, Ann. And this is the title track, Accidental August.
Tell me a tale, make my heart believe. Paint your April green, May will set the scene where heroes win and villains learn and no one ever dies. A land of no May wanders off, June is almost gone, July is pushing through, falling into blue. Days of sun and nights too warm, time raps on the door. A cold wind crossed the floor. Accidental August nods and moves another pawn. Just as day is breaking, night descends at dawn. Weeks and months of moments lived, lost in fogs of gray. Freezing rain on summer streets takes your breath away. Didn't I once know you back before the mask covered up your countenance? Sad, I have to ask. My brother's smile, my mother's voice, a story long ago, before December brought the snow. Accidental August nods and moves another pawn. Just as day is breaking, night descends at dawn. Weeks and months of moments lived, lost in fogs of gray. Freezing rain on summer streets takes your breath away. Tell me a tale, make my heart believe. Paint your April green, May will set the scene where heroes win and villains learn and no one ever dies. A land of no no goodbye.
Accidental August, the brand new title track from Ann Hills. Thank you, Ann, for being our guest on Songwriter Studio. Up next, I'd like to bring the listening audience attention to a brand new album I just received from our buddy Adam Dawson, promoter. This is the Family Shiloh, brand new album at the Cold Copper Ranch, Central Texas band. This is a family band, And their new album is excellent. It's a mix of swing, country, folk, little everything, all kinds of instruments mixed up. It's a brand new album, and I listened to it just today, and it's got some great tracks on it. Let's dive into the brand new album by Family Shiloh. Before we do that, please, if you like what you hear, if you like what you are listening to every week on Songwriter Studio, pick up that phone and dial 713-526-5738 or go to kpft.org. Hit that tip jar. Make sure that money comes to Songwriter Studio so we can continue to bring you these independent artists. Albums, records, songs you'll never hear on commercial radio. We are independent. The station does not tell us what we are to play, what we are not to play. We have no playlists. We pick out the music that we want to present to you, the listeners. So please support this show, Songwriter Studio. Up next, Family Shiloh, like I'd mentioned. The brand new album is At the Cold Copper Ranch. Got some great tracks on this new album. Big thanks to Adam Dawson for sending me this. Let's listen to the track number 1 right out of the chute. This is Cold Copper Theme.
Cold copper, I've come again to feel your hill country wind. Cold copper, I've come again to feel your hill country wind. I put in a pole at the old fishing hole, watch the cattle feeding on the plains, take a deep breath, sing a song of the Wild West, like don't fence me in, a home on the range. Anyone who knows me knows just where I'll be, sitting at the end of the day. Yes, I'm here by the water of the old cold copper, you can bet that's where this cowboy's gonna stay. Watch the cattle feeding on the plains, take a deep breath, sing a song of the Wild West, don't fence me in, a home on the range. Anyone who knows me knows just where I'll be, sitting at the end of the day. Yes, I'm here by the water of the old cold copper, you can bet that's where this cowboy's gonna stay. Cold copper, I've come again to feel your hill country wind. Cold copper, I've come again to feel your hill country wind.
Family Shiloh, brand new music, the title track, Cold Copper Theme. I want to bring to your attention our good friend Jerry Tubb, master of the masters at Terra Nova Mastering in Austin, mastered this record, did a killer job. The album was recorded in Austin, Texas at Arlen Studios, and also Fort Harton in Wildwood, Texas. These are brand new songs from Family Shiloh. Let's jump into track number 2. This is Longhorn Day.
It's gonna be a long day. We all got things getting our way. You know the path we often take is full of twists and turns.
You may swerve and deviate off that straight and narrow way. If your goal's the warrant hole, you know you'll reach it.
I was a little lost lamb till she took my hand, and she showed me the path to the promised land. And I took a while to walk the country mile, and now it seems somewhere in the getting there, the trail turns serpentine. So keep your tail upon the trail and live that longhorn dream. 'Cause it's gonna be a longhorn day. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's gonna be a longhorn day. Till she took my hand and she showed me the path to the promised land. And it took a while to walk the country mile, and now it seems somewhere in the getting there, the trail turns serpentine. So keep your tail upon the trail and live that longhorn dream. 'Cause it's gonna be a longhorn day. Gonna be a longhorn day. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Longhorn Day, brand new music, Family Shiloh, the new album, Cold Copper Ranch, recorded right here in Central Texas. Brand new music. This is a whole family. We got mom, dad, and all the kids all playing music. Everybody's sharing instruments. By the way, that first track, the title track, really, really tasty pedal steel guitar from Paul Glass. Excellent song. Lloyd's got track number 3 booted up and ready to go here off the Family Shiloh at the Cold Copper Ranch. This is the Pennington family. If you've not heard an auctioneer and never been to an auction, you don't know what you're missing. Half the fun of going to an auction is listening to the auctioneer. This is track number 3, Done Lucky Dice.
Some have said she's possibly one of the greatest cows of the breed. Let's rock and roll, Colonel Leonard Rip.
Well, the auction's on, it's 100 for a bid. Now two, won't you bid and give me 2? Take a look up on the block, she's a beautiful view. She's my done lucky dice, she's 102. It's 11:11, a sign from above that I'm about to roll for my lucky dice love. Luck is a lady and I'm sure that's today that lady is a longhorn too. Today that lady is a longhorn too. Well, the auction now's got to sell them cows. The done is the one that my heart's come to. At the end of the day when the deal's all through, I know I done got lucky 'cause I'm loving what I do. It's 11:11, a sign from above that I'm about to roll for my lucky dice love. Luck is a lady and I'm sure that's true, but today that lady is a longhorn too. Today that lady is a longhorn too. Hey drover, let the dice roll over with a little luck now. She done win copper. Hey drover, let the dice roll over with a little luck now. She done win copper. Hey drover, let the dice roll over with a little luck now. She done win copper. Hey drover, let the dice roll over with a little luck now. She done win copper. Well, the auction's on, it's 100 for a bid, now two, won't you bid and give me two?
Done Lucky Dice off the Family Shiloh at the Cold Copper Ranch album that was the Pennington Family. We're going to move on to track number 4 off the brand new album. The name of this track, Kansas.
Kansas.
Brand new music, Family Shiloh, that was Kansas. Really tasty pedal steel from Dave Biller. Also, Marty Muse plays pedal steel on this album. Paul Glass on mandolin. Christopher Gregory on acoustic and electric guitars. We've got so many musicians, great musicians off this record. I highly recommend doing a search and see if you can find Family Shiloh's Cold Copper Ranch. Before we play another track off that, I urge you to pick up that phone and dial 713-526-5738. We've got operators on hold on right now, ready for your call. We've got all kinds of gifts. For the $90 level, you can get the KPFT Studio Sessions 3 CD sets of interviews and performers live in the studios. $150 level, we have the KPFT Picker Poets from 1985 3 CD set thumb drive featuring Guy Clark, Towns Van Zandt, Jerry Jeff Walker, Mickey Newberry, Rodney Crowell. This is a masterpiece album here. $240 level, we have the Juneteenth Blues Festival. It's a 10 CD set featuring Clifton Chenier, Johnny Copeland, Robert Cray, and Albert Collins. Pick up that phone and dial 713-526-5738. If you're just tuning in, you are listening to Songwriter Studio. I'm your host, Tom Tranchilla, along with Lloyd Daniel in the booth. We are featuring the Family Shiloh's new record. Let's go ahead and cue up the next track off the brand new record. This particular song is In Lieu of You. This is Family Shiloh.
Well, I've learned how to twiddle my thumbs now like a champion, and I picked up a new language, talking to the wind. I can walk the floor like that Texas troubadour. I'm too busy watching time pass by for pastimes with my friends in lieu of you. There's a lot that I can do, I'm occupied with the many nights I've cried. I'm all booked up with the hours I spend looking at the moon, wondering what I'll do in lieu of you. Well, I hardly even understand what time is, so I can't tell if time's been kind or if it's on my side. And I keep turning back the clock to see if I can find us, and I wind up reminding myself I'm too occupied in lieu of you. There's a lot that I can do, I'm occupied with the many nights I've cried. I'm all booked up with the hours I spend looking at the moon, wondering what I'll do in lieu of you. In lieu of you, I'm lonesome, but I hope someday you'll be missing out on someone who keeps these blue days busy, wondering what you'll do in lieu of me. There's a lot that I can do, I'm occupied with the many nights I've cried, I'm all booked up with the hours I've spent looking at the moon, wondering what I'll do in lieu of you. Oh, wondering what I'll do in lieu of you.
In Lieu of You, brand new music, Family Shiloh at the Cold Copper Ranch. If you're wondering who that was playing harmonica on that particular track, that was Mickey Raphael. That is the harp player for Willie Nelson and has been for years. In case you're wondering who Family Shiloh is, it is Colby Pennington, Kimberly Pennington, Jonah Pennington, Child Pennington, Adeline Pennington, and Patience Pennington. They are all the family of the Penningtons, and they go by Family Shiloh. Google them on the internet, see if you can find this new album, Cold Copper Ranch. That about does it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you hear, if you like what we bring you week after week, pick up that phone and dial 713-526-5738 or go to kpft.org, hit that tip jar, make sure that money comes to Songwriter Studio. And keep in mind, if you miss this show or you want to turn this show on to one of your friends, they can go to kpft.org. Go to the archives, scroll down to Songwriter Studio, 5 p.m. Sundays. There's a podcast version and a download version. Tell your friends about it. Let's build up the listener base here on Songwriter Studio. Stick around. Up next, Irish Airs, followed by our friends at Bluegrass Depot. See you next week.